My in-laws are demanding gifts, even though we've been no contact for years.
That doesn't deserve any sort of present.
I called my father this morning to see how they were all doing. Before he said good morning, he asked, "What the F is a dorm shower? And why are my in-laws asking for money and gifts?" By the way, this comes from Key Conclusion 5511, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, background. My husband, children, adult teens now, and I went no contact with my husband's entire immediate family and most extended relatives since 2016. That's 9+ years of not talking to, contacting, or having any type of relationship or interactions. We gave them over 20 years of chances and boundaries and consequences. That's to say, it wasn't a rash decision that was made selfishly or thoughtlessly. Through the years, they send us, in the actual USPS mail, because they're blocked everywhere else, requests for gifts. They have their Amazon wish list. They're like, "Hey,
Literally.
I know we're not talking, but I've been eyeing this one thing on Amazon."
Right. Type this in, HTTPS. Like,
You see, they like to create registries.
oh my gosh.
That's what I said. Like you would for a bridal or baby shower, and fill them with obscenely priced items for simple things like birthdays, Christmas, graduation, anniversaries, and every little "I farted and therefore I deserve an expensive gift" event. On to last week into today. I called my husband's aunt to catch up. She's the only one we're still in contact with. And she gave me a heads up that my in-laws were trying to get her to pay, they used the term donate, over $100,000, not a typo, for the golden granddaughter's dorm fees. Because we're family and we need to stick together and do our part. Why aren't you doing your part to pay for her?
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing your part? Doesn't make sense.
Right. Like I feel like part of your part would be to like talk to your family.
Yeah.
Like imagine getting this from people that are like bloodlines way down the line. Like
Yeah,
that you
they're
are
like, "Your
so
family.
far from.
I know you're third cousin twice removed, but you're
Yeah.
family and you got to give me $100,000.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, not how that
I
works.
actually will not be doing that. When the lady who is living a modest life and on Social Security said absolutely not, they then sent her an invitation via text to the dorm shower, and husband's aunt said it was beyond ridiculous, not to mention the request for straight up cash when she graduated. In the meanwhile, I'm getting texts and calls from old acquaintances and childhood friends. We all grew up in the same town and in-laws still live there, but we've moved about 4 hours away, saying that my in-laws are pestering them and trying to get a hold of our information because we changed our cell numbers and blocked them everywhere we digitally could. Last week in the mail, I received an actual printed invite along with registry information, not one place, but 3 separate stores. And because we were curious, my whole family found it comical, took a peek. The cheapest thing on there was a pack of washcloths in the $60 range, followed by a power strip at $120, and the prices went up from there, including items in the $2,000 range.
Yikes.
They even had commercial type appliances, which you can't even take or use in a dorm room. Yeah, because they're like, she really needs this new oven.
Right.
Not us. She needs it for her dorm room.
Yeah, but like mail it to us and then we'll move it to the dorm room.
It'll
to
just
make
be
it
easier that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So why are they even on there? Then the phone calls started rolling in, which were sent to voicemail from phone numbers we aren't familiar with. Mother-in-law ended up leaving a message. Husband's name, this is your mom. Niece's name is going away for college and we need you to contribute $100,000 for her dorm. We also sent you, apparently the rest of us no longer exist, an invitation to our dorm shower and a picture from her graduation, which had requests for straight up money without even hosting a party. Don't disappoint us because you owe it to your niece and sister. First of all, no to the effity no. Second, niece's parents make more than $500,000 a year. They both work for the state, love to brag, and their salaries are posted. Found that out from aunt. So shouldn't they easily be able to afford their child's dorm necessities? Third, my husband and I have our own 2 children in university, one going into sophomore year and one going into junior year, and we never made any grand announcements, much less requests for money. They also choose to stay local in order to save money. I mean, the problem is not that, I feel like grad parties are very common. People, usually you don't request money, but
right.
But you can be like, hey, like I don't need these gifts. I'm saving up for something. Like you could phrase it that way. It's weird to reach out to your family who you're no contact with.
Yeah.
And ask for $100,000. That's an intense amount of money that you can't just ask for. Fourth, what the F are you trying to get money and gifts out of my parents and other elderly relatives? Aren't there laws against swindling senior citizens? My husband dropped everything into the shredder and I erased the voicemail with full intent of remaining and maintaining no contact. In the last 2 hours, I've gotten 6 calls from numbers I don't know, but area codes that are from the area with nobody leaving any messages. WTF. Just when you think you're out, they try to pull you back into their effery. So effing tired, and the nerve to do that. They didn't even bother asking about their biological grandchildren that they claim to love with all their hearts. Yeah, where's their 100K?
Yeah.
There is an edit and an update, folks. But do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, that's just so ridiculous.
So ridiculous that you can't even respond to it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad they just put it in the shredder and just deleted these things
it's like, what do you
instead of
even say?
trying to interact. Yeah, because that's really like it's not going towards any of that stuff.
No,
not at all.
No,
you
of
know
course
that
not.
They're getting kicked out of their house or something.
Yeah.
Or they've gotten into substances or gambling or something like that, and they're down on cash. So
some reason they need the money.
Yeah,
it's not going. Like I feel like they're gonna give their granddaughter like $30. They're gonna be like, "Happy graduation!"
Right,
you know?
right. And it's like you're a lot. You're very far away from that $100,000.
Yeah, but there is an edit. I'm so sorry that I didn't explain it correctly. To be clear, it's 2 separate things. Request 1, $100,000 for dorm fees and boarding, so essentially rent and food. Request 2, dorm shower, registering for gifts at specific stores that people are expected to buy for you off a list produced and chosen by the graduate. Edit 2, how did mother-in-law get the number? We don't know. We did have a friend say that they gave out our address, which they had anyway. Why? Why'd the friend do that?
Yeah.
We have friends in my family that still live there, our hometown that me and my husband grew up in. Many people go to the same church weekly and many of the in-laws attend. That's the most probable place. We still give our new numbers to our friends and family. Mother-in-law managed to get our new number and nobody has confessed to giving it to her. I'm also getting a lot of calls from random numbers, I don't know, and they're not leaving voicemails that coincide with mother-in-law calling. Mother-in-law, as of right now, has left a single message. Reverse directory on the other numbers doesn't give me information. Somehow, at the very least, mother-in-law has gotten our number. We don't know if the other calls are related to mother-in-law because they don't leave voicemails, but considering the uptick in calls and the message from mother-in-law, we think it's related to each other. No further voicemails at this time. And relevant comments, what is OP's husband's take on the situation? OP says, as of now, he wants to maintain no contact, which is the smartest move. For sure. OP says, prior to the no contact, he was a diplomatic fence sitter, and it infuriated me because his silence was the equivalent of acceptance. I credit our children for somewhat dragging him out of the fog, but it's been a 2 steps forward, 1 step back deal, and there are cultural expectations and dysfunction that come into play. Brainwashing would be the best way to describe it, and doing what they wanted was his easiest choice. These people are not normal or controllable, and they are a very large family. Mother-in-law has 6 siblings, father-in-law has 5. Each sibling has a minimum of 3 children, and one had 10. Oh, with 2 passing away in their middle age.
Oh.
Those children have gotten married and have children. When you oppose one, you become their enemy. So picture a nonstop barrage of Bible thumping and telling you that you're all going to heck and cursing our family and children. Conversations don't work. We gave them over 20 years of chances. I refuse to fight and I refuse to submit, therefore we ignore. Commenter 1 says, and how is letting you be subjected to pesterment somehow not him imploding your marriage? Because you sound like you're at your wit's end with these people and he refuses to take steps. Well, okay, no, it sounds like he has taken steps.
Yeah.
He went no contact with them. It's not really his fault that they're finding ways to harass him.
I mean, they didn't give their address or their number.
A cease and desist letter might work. No need to even go to court, but your husband prefers to bury his head in the sand and let you be pestered. Opie says, you're not wrong, but there's more to the story that doesn't make anything easy. But I'm not naive, and there's a plan in place if things go south. He's trying, and I'm giving him grace to change and learn, but I'm not stupid, and my patience isn't infinite. But I do think, like, it's not just like he's trying, like, he did do something. They are no contact. That's not nothing.
Yeah.
He went no contact with his entire family.
Yeah, and it's been like 20 years of no contact.
That's like pretty significant.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't mean OP has, doesn't have a right to be upset about the current stuff that's going on. But like,
course.
I think to say like, oh, you're going to be married to a guy that like lets his family walk all, like he went no contact.
Yeah, like he's not letting them.
No.
He's not.
OP provides some context and an example of her in-laws' entitlement. My in-laws didn't approve of our marriage. They didn't want us to succeed. They thought that without them and their help and influence, we would be nothing. They're probably asking OP and her husband at their wedding for $100K. They're like, for your wedding, we would like $100K. Thank you.
Right. Now that you're a part of the family officially, you have to contribute.
Yeah, there's the wedding registry and then there's the in-law registry.
Yeah.
We proved them wrong. If we had anything or were successful in any capacity, they couldn't stand it. Example, we bought our first condo. They felt entitled and wanted keys so they could come and go as they pleased. I said no. They waited till we were at work, oh my goodness, and tried getting in using a locksmith? So they tried to break in?
What?
Are they not in jail?
Honestly.
They claimed to be the owners and said, look, their name is on the buzzer, and they hadn't had time to change their driver's license. The locksmith went to the manager's office because they often had spare keys, and because I had been in and out of the manager's office getting approvals for our renovations, they knew right away that they weren't the owners and called the police. Police showed up and were talking to the manager. We pulled up to see my in-laws standing next to the cop car along with another officer. They explained what happened. We reaffirmed that they had no right to enter. They asked us if we wanted to press charges. Husband said no. You should have pressed charges. They tried to break into your house.
Yeah.
But I begged the officer to scare the crap out of them, and he kindly did. This is not even the worst of it. So their logic is to constantly take everything they can take, so we get overrun with debt while they keep progressing and achieving, thus proving to everyone that we were losers and they predicted it. Why did they try? Because they can, and they think eventually they're going to be successful. And there is an update 8 days later.
Wow.
I do think that if they're trying to break in, like that's the level of stuff.
Yeah.
You should get a restraining order or something, like file charges.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Because and then I'm sure that they deleted and shredded things, but if they keep getting letters and voicemails and stuff like that, that's and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's you
have all this proof.
Yeah, you could add all that up, and maybe that will make them stop. If ignoring them isn't going to make them stop, maybe the law can.
Maybe the law has something to say about it. Update 8 days later. We are maintaining no contact, no gifts or donations of $100,000 because what they ultimately want is a reaction or contact. We refuse to fight and we refuse to submit. Therefore, we ignore. Our silence is clear message that they don't hold any value in our lives, and that drives them absolutely crazy. Google Voice has been set up and everything else is being blocked on the landline if they don't leave a message or aren't part of our contacts. Mother-in-law at this point has left a single message, but we received at least 50 calls last time I counted from numbers that we don't know, but we suspect are mother-in-law's flying monkeys. I still don't understand why they're asking for $100,000 for dorm rent and food, because anyway I look at it, the math ain't mathin'. That's what I'm saying. I spoke to my cousin, a lawyer not in my area, and gave her all the information and asked her if anything could be done. She reached out to a retired colleague who used to practice and now teaches, and they basically said to continue to ignore because legally not much can be done. Annoying, but it is what it is. Now on to the gossip. My dad and uncles are part of the church board and have been for decades. They, the board secretary and clergy, get together every Monday and review the week ahead, deal with issues, and approve or reject anything that needs to be dealt with. Pretty standard stuff. The in-laws attend the church but aren't really active in terms of committees, fundraising, and activities planning. Mother-in-law has volunteered once at a bake sale in the 40-plus years of living in the community and attending this church. The church has a huge banquet room that includes a stage, bar area, and fountain. It's used for church functions, plays, bazaars, dinner dances, parties, and can be rented out for a fee. Everyone pays some sort of fee. The fee is a complete breakdown of everything. There are 2 prices. One for stewards, members that pay a yearly membership to the church, and one for non-stewards, non-members or anyone else who would like to rent the space. If you're a member, then you get the rentals at cost. So the church doesn't really make anything extra on the rental. If you're not a member, then there's an upcharge for using the space. Mother-in-law and sister-in-law want to rent the space because they're anticipating 200 plus people for the dorm shower. Why is it a dorm shower? Couldn't it have just been a graduation party?
I know, I've never heard of a dorm shower.
It's a grad party.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, it sounds like they're all gonna huddle up into this tiny little dorm that's like probably half hers, and then throw a little party.
Yeah,
no one's gonna fit in there.
Exactly. No one's gonna fit. They filled in a request online that requires you to input your information, steward number, information about what the party is for, how many people, what vendors, if there will be liquor, and special requests. The board reviews it, and if they have questions, they make follow-up calls. The secretary had mother-in-law on speakerphone so that everyone could listen and ask questions if needed. They aren't current stewards. Last time they were stewards was when their kids were little. No judgment, just explaining. They used their steward number from decades ago and played stupid when the secretary said that they need to be current stewards in order to get the discount. They know this because they tried to pull the same crap for sister-in-law's big bridal shower. She had a total of 5, as well as the christenings of her children. She had a total of 5 bridal showers?
What?
How many? That's too many. That's too many. The church has to pull a variety of permits depending on what type of party you're having, insurance, plus security, liquor permits, custodians, and a few other things I'm sure I'm forgetting. There is a pre-approved list of vendors that you need to choose from if you want to serve food or liquor, and they set their own prices separately from the church. If you want to rent the space, those are the rules and have been for over 30 years. If you follow the rules, then it's pretty seamless. And I've used them plenty of times throughout the years without any issues. Mother-in-law then tried to negotiate the price because they have volunteered so much throughout the years. Once. You volunteered once. Then she tries to say that they're going to bring in their own food and liquor, which we know they can't because there's a license for it. By the way, you know what you can do? Listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Just these people.
These people, man.
They're a piece of work.
Wowee.
Man, oh
Wowee.
man.
I mean, I don't know how you even put up with them at all.
Yeah. It does suck that they still like live relatively nearby.
Yeah, like 4 hours, but also it seems like they live nearby other family members and other friends.
Right.
So there's still some kind of overlap.
Yeah. And
which is tricky.
That they're involved in the church still. It's like everyone just needs they need to be far away from other people.
I agree.
Because they're not acting how people should.
No, they're acting how people shouldn't.
Yes.
And there is a little bit left to this story, so I should finish it. Church said you have to use the pre-approved vendors or you can't serve food or beverages. Then mother-in-law pivots and wants to charge a fee to enter and have a cash bar so she can use the space.
Oh my God.
And knowing her, upcharge to make a profit. Yes, use the church's space to upcharge. That's crazy.
That's so wild.
The church explains that there would be additional paperwork and fees for that paperwork. Mother-in-law doesn't like that and says to just forget it. Under special request, she wants the choir to donate a performance, and at the end, they wanted to do some sort of parade. My dad said that they were all just sitting there shaking their heads at the ridiculousness of mother-in-law. The fact that the party is supposed to happen, supposedly, the first week of August, with the address on the original invite being sister-in-law's house address. So 200 plus people are going to go into a residential neighborhood with limited parking for a dorm shower. I'm sure it'll be as classy as they are.
Wow.
And folks, that's the end of that story.
That is so wild,
That's
dude.
crazy. They can't stop, man. They can't stop.
My in-laws tried to have their wedding on my property after I already rejected it.
Not around here, partner.
My brother-in-law, who is 30, let's call him Duke, and my sister-in-law, 25, let's call her Deanna, have been together for 2 years. This summer, they had their wedding. I am still reeling. Let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Duke and Deanna got engaged winter of 2023. In spring of 2024, they were evacuated from where they lived 12 hours north of us because of a forest fire.
Oh.
Of course, we said that they could stay with us. This included them and their 2 large dogs. We live on an acreage and have 2 large dogs ourselves, so this isn't an issue. Or so we thought.
No.
By the way, this comes from messpatient8264 on the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, Duke and Deanna enjoy some recreational activities, which is legal where we live. To each their own. However, we at the time had 2 young children, and now we have 3. Legal or not, there are no substances allowed in our home. They were respectful of this rule and kept it outside, although our home reeked the entire time. While they were here, they would not take care of their large hyper dogs, and it became my responsibility.
Oh, no.
As my husband works full-time, and I am at home with the kids. Their dogs are not well behaved, and I did not feel comfortable taking care of large dogs constantly jumping at me and starting fights with our dogs. Our dogs are large but lazy, and they don't jump.
Truly, like, the second that I start seeing this behavior,
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry, you need to take care of your dogs. This is unacceptable behavior.
Yeah.
If you want to continue to live here.
Yeah.
You address that
Honestly,
immediately. Like, the second that you have to start taking care of their dogs and they're being aggressive with yours.
Right.
No.
I promise the dogs are relevant. They would leave late at night and drive high. I don't want to have to deal with that responsibility if anything happens to them. Anyways, during that time that my brother-in-law, let's say Tim, got married that year while they were down here for the evacuation. He is brothers with my husband and Duke. Duke and Deanna were late to help with setup and over an hour late to the intimate rehearsal dinner because they were napping. Which was actually they were smoking.
Okay. I was going to say no. Well, both of those excuses are dumb.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I also I think I would be really pissed if someone told me they were napping and that's why they missed something. I'd be like, just tell me the truth.
Set an alarm.
Yeah.
Girl. Like,
come
what?
on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Throughout the wedding, Deanna was commenting about all the things that she would never do at her wedding. It was a classy and well done wedding. It's clear from so many small instances that they have no respect for others, their boundaries, property, or time.
I mean, what do they know about class?
Yeah, clearly nothing. While they stayed with us for 3 weeks waiting to be allowed back into their home, nothing was damaged. They planned their wedding. Sort of. They asked if they could have their wedding on our property.
No.
This is where my husband and I got married in the height of the vid. Before my husband bought the house, it was family land. We said we would consider it because it could be considered a special spot to Duke. After 3 weeks, they went back up north. My husband and I talked about it and decided that we could not host a wedding for them. That summer, I became pregnant with our 3rd. My husband works a lot of overtime in the summer, and they were aiming to get married in July 2025. We didn't think we would be able to get the house or property wedding ready. As well, I didn't want to have to host a wedding while caring for 3 young children as our baby would be a newborn at the time.
And you would have to do everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, they wouldn't even take care of their own dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on top of that, much of Deanna's family partakes in recreational activities, and we couldn't trust that these people we didn't know would respect our rules of no devil's lettuce in the house. Now, the one thing this family lacks is communication. The one thing? And we must take responsibility for our lack of communication. They said that they thought our place would make a good venue. They did not say for sure that they wanted to get married there, so we waited to hear about more wedding plans. We didn't want to have to say no and be a-holes if they choose a different venue.
I think that's fair. I don't even think that's a lack of communication on your end. I think it's just them being like, oh, it'd be nice to have a wedding here. And you're like,
Yeah.
They didn't say, hey, can we have the wedding here?
Right. Yeah. And like, hopefully you guys didn't say like, oh, yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. As long as you didn't say that, you're fine.
Right. We assumed after announcing our pregnancy that they wouldn't expect us to host with a new baby. We told family about the baby in August 2024. They never followed up with us, and since we didn't agree to hosting, we assumed that they found a different wedding venue. Fast forward to February 2025. I am as pregnant as it gets, and honestly, my mental health wasn't great. Duke and Deanna sent out wedding invites. Location, my address. When? July. Of course.
No.
That's crazy,
No.
dude.
What?
And now the invite's already out.
That's insane.
I was livid. My husband, who was also upset, handled it very well. He told them that we were unable to accommodate them, and he was much kinder about it than I would have been. We expected a fight, but they agreed to change the venue. We appreciated that greatly. Okay. And it was e-invites, so it was not costly to change or resend. Free, in fact. Now, you may have already decided that I'm the a-hole for making them change their venue.
No.
No, not at all.
No.
But let me paint a picture for you of their wedding and celebration. After we said our place was a no-go, they had to look for another venue. But it was difficult because they wanted a specific date. A Thursday. Weird.
Sure.
We thought that was weird, but whatever. My husband asked why that date was so important, and we were told you aren't allowed to ask.
Okay.
What?
It's a secret.
It's a secret.
Don't ask me.
It's
Bad
important.
luck.
It's important because of Nunya and your business. Now it's the end of June, and they are getting married at the beginning of July. As expected, this wedding is messy and unorganized. At this point, they have had 1.5 years to plan and prep for this wedding. All decor is DIY, and so was mine for my wedding. My mom and I did it all during our 6-month engagement. Duke and Deanna have done none of it beforehand. Everything is brought down, they still got married down here, to be made and done only 2 weeks before the wedding. During this time, they are staying with mother-in-law and father-in-law because I was not hosting and caring for their insane dogs with young children and a new baby. The family thinks I'm ridiculous for not catering to the needs of the precious family fave and his soon-to-be bride. They try to passive-aggressively encourage us to take the dogs to our house because there is more space on our property. We did not cave. I started to wonder if I'm being the a-hole. It is their wedding. Maybe I should be more lenient. But apparently Deanna doesn't like anything mother-in-law cooks. I don't always agree with my mother-in-law, and we don't always get along, but she is a good woman, and she would cook anything for anyone. And sister-in-law keeps saying, oh no, I don't like that, and won't eat it with the family. She will only go get fast food after the meal. That's so rude, dude. If someone is like letting you stay with them, even for anything, like especially a wedding, like, and you're not gonna eat their cooking.
That's crazy. If someone was staying with me and they were like, and I was like, yeah, like I'll cook today, and they're like,
yeah. And then you do cook, and then afterwards they get fast food because they don't like it.
I would be heartbroken, and I would kick them out.
I feel like if you really, really didn't like whatever someone's cooking for you, offer to cook yourself.
Yeah, you're like, hey,
I'll cook
for everyone.
Yeah, like come on. Father-in-law cooks a steak, and she requests a hot dog instead.
What? This isn't an open menu.
This is like how I was as a child.
Yeah, yeah. Your parent gives you like pasta, and you're like, I want chicken nuggets.
Yeah, exactly. They, of course, give her what she wants.
What?
But suddenly, mother-in-law is very upset when they leave to stay at a hotel a few days before the wedding, and she is left to care for the dogs and the cats. Yes, they brought their cats, because apparently there's no house sitter or animal caretaker where they live. And that's why we didn't want the animals at our house.
Well, addendum, no free pet sitter.
Exactly. That's a very important note. My daughter had her 2nd birthday the 1st week of July, and it was great to have them in town so everyone could come for the party. Just a super chill wiener roast. Sister-in-law is upset that it's hot dogs and won't eat anything. I'm sorry,
now she doesn't like hot dogs?
Come on, girl. Make up your
mind.
It unfortunately rains, and we have to move the party inside. She sits outside and will not come in to do cake and presents with her niece.
She's getting soaked eating a hot dog. Oh, not eating a hot dog today. I don't know what she's eating today.
Why are you staying outside? You're crazy. I know my daughter won't remember, but it frustrates me when my family won't make an effort with my kids. She's 2. Just come and have cake with her. Supposedly, she has social anxiety, which is fair, but except she sure didn't have any during her wedding celebration, which I promise we will get to. It wasn't a big birthday party, just a little celebration with family and a couple close friends. So it's the day before the wedding. I go with lots of other family to help decorate and set up the hall. But we aren't setting up. We are making the decorations. They've had a year and a half. We're making signs, bouquets with fake flowers.
Why are you
Could
helping?
have been done in advance. Centerpieces, painting signs, and making and decorating an arch. Nothing was organized. We went out to grab more supplies. It was 30 degrees Celsius in a building with no AC.
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah.
That's not too hot, but with no AC, that is hot.
That's hot.
Around, that's like 80.
Something like
80.
that. Her dad had to stop helping to bathe his dogs. It was wild. I worked hard, and so did everyone else. They worked their butts off to pull this wedding together for Duke and Deanna, because despite my bad attitude, we do love them. So, rehearsal. The chaplain isn't there to run the rehearsal, so we are missing a groomsman, and the littlest flower girl, 18 months old, isn't there to practice. Deanna is looking lost, so I offer to help. I'm no expert, but I've been to a lot of weddings recently and explain how things are usually done. and I ask if she wants me to step in or if she wants me to just sit and be quiet. She did ask for my help, so I directed the processional. It's messy, but we practice and it's okay. She's very specific about the timing of her entrance, which I get. The little parts matter. I told her we might have to loop the song as it's quite a long walk down a hill to where they are saying their vows. Don't worry, it's relevant. So, finally, the day of the wedding. Are we ready, everyone?
I'm ready.
We ready. We get to the hall. Deanna is there. Not ready. Freaking out about the decor still. The groom and groomsmen are almost late because they realized that morning that he didn't have a tie. They also had to stop and grab booze.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
He didn't have a tie? He didn't have one tie?
That's crazy, dude. They also had to stop and grab booze for the wedding the morning of, because why would we be prepared? When Duke gets there, Deanna starts fighting with him about stuff that he was supposed to do but didn't. It's a mess. Finally, whatever the heck is going on is resolved, and she keeps getting ready. The wedding ceremony starts 30 minutes late. In the grand scheme of things, not bad. Probably the best part of the day. So, things are off to a rocky start. No one thought to bring the speakers out for the music. We finally get it set up and we can start. I'm at the top of the hill with the flower girls and ring bearer. 2 of the 4 kiddos are mine. My son is almost 4 and he's the oldest. I ask him to hold the littlest girl's hand to help her down the hill. Most 18-month-old kids haven't been walking for long and they certainly haven't mastered hills. Music is playing. The bridal party is making their entrance, but not fast enough. Deanna starts freaking out. Why aren't they going fast enough? I said, it's okay, we can loop the song. The grandmas took a little longer going down the hill than expected. They were walked down the hill with help, but old ladies take a while. She snaps at me. No one gets how important it is until it's their moment.
Okay, well, it wasn't that important to you, clearly, because you didn't plan anything.
Yeah, like, why are you starting at the top of a hill for your walk down the aisle? You're supposed to start, like, where the people are sitting.
Yeah.
My guy. I doubt you have enough people at this party to be up a giant
Stations of the Cross. Let's make it a little easier.
Come on. I didn't say anything. I don't want to be rude. It's her wedding and it can be stressful, but I, of all people, get it. I replanned my wedding 4 times during the vid to follow all the rules. She throws her phone to me. It's connected to the speakers with the music and she doesn't want to carry her phone in the aisle. Fair. Now it's time for the children to go. My son is going slow because the little girl can barely walk and it's downhill. Deanna snaps at the kids to hurry up. They turn around and start coming back up because they think that they're doing something wrong. Aww. She snaps again and grabs the littlest one and barrels down the aisle. My son is sensitive and starts to cry because this aunt that he barely knows is yelling at him and there's lots of people around that he doesn't know. I take my kids and go sit down. I can only imagine what pictures look like. And somehow it doesn't end here. They have super fast vows, and here's the twist. The chaplain announces that they are already married, and it's their 1-year anniversary.
Psych.
One of those things.
Joke's on you. Pff, you've just been pranked.
No one says anything. No one claps. And they kiss. There's absolute silence.
Dang.
It's a fake wedding. She yelled at my kids for a fake moment. It's fine to elope, and it's okay to celebrate at a different date if you can't afford it. But to lie to everyone for a whole year? Now we know why the date was so special. Yeah, they weren't allowed to ask because it's their anniversary.
It's their anniversary, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And a year before, they posted a pic of both of them wearing rings, and I asked, did you guys get married? And she said, no, it's a men's engagement ring. My husband was in the wedding party, so of course he was in the photos. They had to take multiple breaks during photos to light up and get some fresh air. They were over an hour late for the reception. Wild. Everyone at the wedding is pleasant, but it for sure put a damper on the whole mood. Not gonna lie, I checked out. I did not help with cleanup. I wasn't going to drag my kids back to the hall for another day, and my husband wasn't taking another day off work for this. He was hurt. His brother got married and didn't tell him or anyone about it. By the way, I will always tell you about the fact that we've got full episodes of more stories just like this one on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. They're all over there.
They're all there.
They're all there. Yeah, there is a little bit more to this story, but how would you feel if you found out about that?
If I found out that Sam got married and I didn't know, I'd be devastated.
I would be so sad,
but
right?
I have a very close relationship with my brother.
Yeah,
and if I, maybe OP husband doesn't have that close. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if Sam's not allowed to do that.
My cousin told me to take our gift back. I thought about it, but we didn't. Many people traveled so far for this wedding, anywhere from 5 to 23 hours of driving or flights for a fake wedding, for a joke.
Well, I will say, I don't think it was a joke.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a joke.
I think it was a ceremony to celebrate, and they were trying to do a whole surprise. Because I have seen the trend that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And regardless of what like I would do or not.
Right.
I do think it's not fair to say it's fake. It is still a ceremony.
Yeah.
But I understand that you're hurt.
Right. There were so many small things that happened. My husband did not hide how he was feeling. Deanna asked me, "Is your husband mad at me? He seemed kind of grumpy." I just laughed and walked away. So, am I the a-hole? I didn't let them have their wedding at my house. I didn't help with cleanup, and I don't want them to stay at my house again. I feel like they have no respect for time, property, or boundaries of others, and I don't want her around yelling at my kids that she won't take the time to make an effort with. Am I overreacting? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because it wasn't a real wedding. And that's the end of that story. Yikes, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll say is that it was a real wedding. Like, it was just a ceremony.
It was a wedding. I mean, could you technically call it a real wedding? I mean, they already were wed.
I mean, the ceremony is not happening, but like the celebration is still important.
It's a wedding celebration.
Yeah. But everything else, not the a-hole.
Yeah, definitely not the a-hole.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously this whole thing was so unprepared.
Yeah.
And so
you were
messy.
expected to do so much.
Yeah, exactly. And so if that was at your place, like you would have been driven crazy dude, because then there's cleanup. And then
you are stuck with the cleanup because it's your house.
Yeah. And then there's still,
if anyone like messes
having
things
this whole
up,
party,
breaks things.
Right. You're responsible. And they definitely won't pay you for that.
No.
They're obviously looking for free for everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, definitely not. I would still be mad.
Agreed. But folks, that's the end of that story and the end of the episode.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you and see you tomorrow.